Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about the material world. So there is a lot of misconception about this word called the material world, and I wanted to explain in detail about what I mean by this and what the actual meaning of material world is, because it can be taken as wrongly. It can be taken very wrongly, and it can be misunderstood. So when man delves into the material world and finds that there is little or no contentment to be found in the material world, he starts a journey or a spiritual journey, and the first thing that he probably hears is that the material world is not going to give them this contentment or satisfaction. But here he misunderstands the word called the material world. So I want to suggest, or I want to explain this word uh, so that people don't misunderstand that the material world is something that is outside. So what I mean by material world is anything that materializes. So if you leave the material world and go somewhere, or lock yourself in a room, or go into a cave, or maybe become a nun or a monk, uh, so that you are away from the material world, you're still with the world that is materializing. So what the seers and what the prophets mean by the material world is not the physical world that we are able to interact with, but it is everything that materializes. So everything that materializes is temporary and is not going to give you uh, lasting satisfaction or contentment, because that is the nature of the material world. It materializes and it goes away. It is temporary and it is impermanent. So this impermanent nature is not just to the physical world that we see, or to the uh, aspirations like uh, gaining money or professional success, or anything, having good relationships or anything. These not these world called material world is not just limited to these things. It is also limited to our inner world, that is the thoughts that manifest, the feelings that arise, the desires, the emotions. These are also materializing all the time, and anything that materializes is the material world or the material reality. And above everything, there is the sense of I, and the sense of I is uh, is the personality that is perceiving all this and interacting with the so-called material world, and assuming itself to own these material things in the world. So the material world is not out there, or it is not in a city, or it is not in this pursuit for professional improvement, or for um, relationship gains, or whatever it may be. It is not just that, it is everything that materializes. And in order to find lasting contentment, it is not just that you run away from the material world, it is you abide in something that is not materializing, that is perfectly constant all the time, and it is here in our experience, yet we are not able to see it because it is not. It is prior to materializing. It is prior to thought. It is what the Buddha called emptiness. It is what is meant by God. It is what meant by um, by a lot of people who say that reality is something. So some spiritual traditions also call this unmanifesting awareness, or this emptiness. emptiness as reality. So this is actually what material world means. And usually in some of my videos I have mentioned this word a lot, but I have not tried to explain this. But in this video I wanted to explain this so that people won't have any misconceptions. And usually there is a lot of misconception in religious texts, and interpreting this religious text, and not just religious text, any spiritual text is all, it's very metaphoric, and it points to something uh, that is this reality. And there is a way of reading these books and reading this text, and interpreting the meanings behind these words and these texts. And this way is can be only understood when you get a glimpse of what they are trying to say, and when you actually experience what they are trying to say. And these words are not to be meant very literally. And as soon as you take them literally, you are constructing a lot of wrong ideas about the words. And so, there's also another thing that I want to touch upon in this video, and um, it is about words and misconceptions behind words. So words can shape your reality. If you um, add a new word to your vocabulary, your whole reality suddenly changes. And the words that you use, the words that you um, constantly think about are very important, and they shape our reality. And we have a relationship with the words in such a way that this relationship evolves over time, and these relationships become something more the more you are thinking about the words. So, for example, God can mean different things to different people, even though it may seem as if we are referring to a singular thing. The word God can induce this divinity in a religious person, whereas it cannot induce this divinity in a non-religious person. It is only because our relationship with this word called God has developed over time, but a non-religious person has not decided to develop this relationship with this word called God. And words are the basis of our experience, especially the adult experience. And we are so much attached to the words, and our words literally shape the reality that we see, and the filter that goes through the experience. And the more you interact with words, the more you will gain and evolve this relationship with the words. So even the word peace and even the word calm, or any small words that we use, can mean different things to different people, and experience can never truly be transferable. Uh, I also wanted to talk about how we interact with each other. Like, we can only interact with each other uh, in terms of language, and it is very limited. Language uh, uh, can rarely transfer the experience that we are having, and so it is limited up to a certain extent. But a person who is able to manipulate words and use the words to its maximum flexibility, he can be able to uh, transfer this experience, or transfer this profundity in experience to the other person who is listening, or to the other person who is reading. And so it has been done by a lot of prophets and a lot of sages and a lot of saints. But at the end of the day, it is important to understand the means of communication that we are using here, and it is very limited. and hence there comes this problem of ignoring depth um, of experience. So we can get caught up in the words and we can ignore the depth of life that is happening here, the profundity of life that is happening here. Uh, and life is very profound. It is not something uh, that words can express. Every experience is such a profound experience that no words can give justice to these experiences that we have. Um, Not just like going on a journey, nothing like that, just normal experiences that we have. Um, uh, the state when we wake up, for example, the, the state you are in when you wake up from sleep, it is quite profound. The first few hours of your day are very profound, and the the sleep itself is such a profound thing, and everything that you do in each day, everything that you experience, the relationships you have with other people, it is all very profound when it is taken from the perspective of reality. Everything in the material world that materializes is very profound, and everything that is materializing is a symbol, just like words, of pointing towards this reality, pointing towards this formlessness that is existing in every form. Idolatry, according to me, is not uh, praising form, but understanding that the formless is along with the form, and along with the words, there is the intensity of the experience. Uh, in every word, there is hidden a meaning behind it. In every word is pointing to something, and this pointing is also uh, about the material world, everything in the material world that is materializing, and your pursuits, your aims, your ambitions, they're all taking you and pointing you towards this reality that is happening, that is always here, that is unseen, and that is uninteractable, yet it's there. It is hidden in plain sight. It is always here, but we choose to ignore it somehow. We always think that the materializing thing is reality, but when in fact everything is materializing in reality. So I hope I gave proper justice to this word called the material world, and there is a lot of misinterpretation, not just in people who are beginning in the spiritual path, but also in people who have been in the spiritual path for years and years. It seems that we don't really understand what this word really means. What and it is important to build a relationship to this word and try to understand what this word actually means, not in the sense that you understand it literally, but you understand it in experience, you understand it through the perspective of reality, and develop and evolve this relationship with this word called the material world, and how it is very impermanent and temporary. So thank you for watching this video. I hope I gave some insight into what material world is, and how I hope it is not misinterpreted by people when I talk about this word called material world. And yes, thank you for watching this video.